This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement, the Cape May Star and Wave, the Township website, and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's true. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Perry.
Here.
Councilmember Simonson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Before we move on in the consent agenda, we have Steve Selby, who has come upon us here thanks to Cape Assist and the federal government. He is going to be the new coalition coordinator for the Lower Township Healthy Youth Coalition with Cape Assist. And I'll let him do the talking, but welcome, we need you here. And what he's going to do, he'll explain when he gets to the microphone. Just take the mic if you can. He's only going to be here for a couple of minutes, but get used to seeing him because he's going to be all over town for the next few years anyway, and hopefully even longer.
I talk kind of loud. You guys can all hear me, right? First of all, council members, thank you for having me. Some of you I know personally, some of you I've never met. I can assure you, like Mayor Beck just said, you will be seeing probably too much of me. With that being said, as Mayor Beck already kind of prefaced this conversation, federal government, Cape Assist, has through the initiative of you, as council and government, has granted a federal grant to this township specifically to combat substance abuse within our youth. It is an ever-growing issue. It is an elephant in the room, and it's something that people don't want to talk about. But the bottom line is it is an issue, and it is a problem. The coalition will be having its first public meeting at the very beginning of the first of the new year. I know it is tough right now with the holiday season to get things started. Council will be aware of it. The public will be aware of it, and we'll be going full tilt as of January 1st. The wheels are already in motion now through either training through myself and coworkers and some of the people who you see in the room will be involved in that training. With the goal in mind is to develop a healthier youth for our healthier area environment for our youth. Being my family and I being residents of town, business owners in town, we understand and we have a passion for this town that we want to see start from the ground up. And what more important could be than from our youth. We are excited about the opportunity. It is not going to be a turnkey fixed problem. That's not the way this is going to work. It's going to take people in the community who come to meetings like this and government who's been elected to join as one. Politics are not part of the equation when it comes to this. This is all hands on deck, and that's how we're going to get things done. Again, it's going to be very, 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 very brief introduction by me. You will be seeing more of me. A presentation exactly what we're going to be doing will be forthcoming. But as of right now, again, I just wanted to show my face, meet some of you gentlemen and ladies, and we'll move on from here. All right, thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you. Appreciate the efforts, and certainly a big thank you goes to Cape Assist, who did a lot of legwork towards the specific grant. We've been, all of council, we've been beating the drum on this for a couple of years. We would be certainly abdicating our responsibility to warn the residents, and we were out there in front going back a few years ago, and I think it's one of the reasons why you're standing here.
No doubt about it, Mayor Beck. I mean, you and council and everyone here, this would not be an option if it wasn't for the initiative that the town took. It's a very unique grant. Anything that comes from the White House down, it takes a lot of work to get there. And now we're here, and we're going to make it happen.
And the answers are within the people themselves. I mean, that's the key to this, and I mean, frankly, that's why we have a coalition. But, you know, when you sit back and look at it, for a lot of people, they're somewhat indifferent towards it until it hits home. And then they become extremely passionate, and sometimes it's almost a shame because for a lot of parents, it happens before they even see it coming at them. And like we've said countless times, and perhaps one of the major goals is it's a heck of a lot easier to prevent it from coming in your house than it is to get it out of there once it's in there. Thank you. Take care. We move down to the consent agenda. Anybody have comments or questions on the consent agenda? I have one, which is which I'm, where am I at here? Actually, it's on the regular agenda, so I'll ask the question when we go to that. So does anybody on council have any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Open up for public comment on the consent agenda. Close the public portion.
Approval of the minutes from November 2nd. Resolutions number 2015-323 through 2015-334.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2015-335, a resolution to memorialize and clarify the existing lease between the Township of Lower Bureau of Fire Safety and the Township of Lower. This resolution is to explain the health benefit budgeting in the case of self-insurance.
Okay, but it's not costing us any money.
No,
It's the same as what we've had, right? Am I correct on that, Jim?
I'm sorry.
Mayor, what happened here is looking at the ordinance, it was very dated, and nowhere in there did it spell out a differentiation where you would be in a self-insurance situation, which we've seen volatility. So basically, the attorneys for both parties are trying to tighten that and add language to protect us both.
Okay, it's just boilerplate, and basically, it's not changing anything we don't already have.
No, we actually attached the lease that.
I saw that. I just went through it, but, I mean, it's like, there's a lot of legalese in there.
Yeah, there's just, the resolution specifically is 2 paragraphs. If we are self-insured, this is how they budget. If we are, I guess, state insured, for lack of a better word, this is how they budget. It's strictly for budgeting purposes only for the Fire Bureau.
Okay. Open it up for, is there any council comments? Is there any public comment? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Abstain.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Council comments. Tom?
Other than wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving, I'll defer. I don't think I need to say anything more at this point.
The only thing I have to add is if the people in the North Cape May area have noticed that some of the crosswalks have been freshly painted by the county. They did respond to some concerns that I had brought up to them about the safety of pedestrians crossing, mainly Washington Boulevard and Bayshore, Town Bank, and Bayshore also. They're out there starting to get the crosswalks painted and much better identified. The other thing is, it's my understanding that the engineering firm is starting with the Bayshore Estates project, and they will be in the area of Roseanne Avenue within the next few weeks to get started. So there may be some inconvenience for some of the people living on Roseanne Avenue to have to do with maybe parking at certain times of the day while the engineers are out doing their jobs. So as I get more information, I'll make sure it gets passed on. Other than that, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if anyone has any, I do have maps of the Exit Zero project. If anyone, it is a little complicated. It's difficult to explain in words. So if anyone needs, please see myself or the manager, or stop in the town hall and make sure that you get a copy of the of the map of what's going on there and what will be finished, is expected to be finished by Memorial Day. Other than that, everybody have a great Thanksgiving, and there's a lot to be thankful for, obviously. Looking back over the past week, we've had Veterans Day, so much to be thankful for in this country, and then seeing what transpired in Paris as well, that we're just thankful and keep our loved ones safe and healthy, and again, have a happy Thanksgiving.
I'd like to start by thanking Steve Selby for taking on this project on behalf of the township. This is a great initiative, and we're looking forward to great things for this project. The mayor is too modest to point it out, but this whole initiative is something that really grew out of his commitment to do something about this. He came into office dedicated to addressing the drug situation that we're facing. He began by putting it into the context of the whole state and the whole country so that we could see where we were just part of a national problem. This was not something that was particular to Lower Township, but nevertheless has taken the leadership to really do something about it. And this coordination and the result of this grant, I really give a lot of credit to you, Mayor, for making it happen. In terms of Thanksgiving, I just want to say that we do have a lot to be thankful for. I want to just echo what Councilman Simonson said. When you think about the fact that we live in a country where we can be free to have meetings, we can come to council, we can address elected officials, we can ask them to do better, and we see that all the time. And in a lot of countries, you just can't do that. You can't do that. And there's a lot of people out there just trying to stop the freedom that we enjoy and take for granted every day. So when we think about how much we do have to be thankful for, our freedom and living in this country is right at the top. And I think on that note, I'll pass it to the mayor.
Thank you. And there was a lot of people that were involved with the pursuit of this grant, and I'll be honest with you, I mean, I remember back at the beginning, even with the rec department, when we had meetings a couple of years ago, and we just said to the department heads, how can you help? And there were every department, police, courts, the judge came in, and it was because of that initiative that was the basis for the application for the grant. Government won't give money to communities that don't care. And the fact that we were able to, and it was a coordinated effort with every department within the township, as well as Cape Assist, Cape Counseling, the courts, the school system, all sat on this committee, and the committee itself was basically the proposal that went to Washington that enabled us to get this grant, because the community showed a heartbeat. It showed a pulse, and the government says, okay, we will feed that. So that's why we have a 5-year grant for $125,000 a year, which enables us to put Mr. Selby out there, and hopefully we can keep the next generation of kids away from this poison. And for that, I'm extremely thankful. I mean, it is probably one of the, if not the number one issue that I look at when I wake up in the morning and think about where the town's at. This would probably be it. So we moving on. Tuesday, December 1st, tree lighting, 7 o'clock at the rec center. That's always a special evening, highly recommended. It's also a salute to veterans. So if you can make it, again, that's Tuesday, December 1st at 7 o'clock at the rec center. Friday, December 4th is the Day of Hospitality, and they changed that last year to the afternoon to make it easier, I think, for a lot of our seniors to do this. So it's from 2 to 7 p.m., and that's where you get stampeded by people trying to get their tickets. And then Saturday, December 12th, is the Christmas parade. And what time's that, 7? I think something like that. 7 o'clock, okay. That's December 12th. And I echo what everybody on council has said in the sense of gratitude. I also wish to express all of council's gratitude to our employees for the job they do for us every day, and for the residents too, for giving us the opportunity to serve. So we'll open it up now to council comments or to call to the public. Go ahead. Bill.
Yeah, Bill Greenfield, Villas. I hate to get up here and spoil this quick meeting, but this one's for North. I haven't had a chance to see you before any of the meetings, but I wasn't at the meeting where you were talking about beach fill between somewhere, or trying to get it done between somewhere in Cape May Beach and Spruce, I think you said.
Yeah, Bill, I'm glad you asked about that. We have been looking for ways to increase the beach. There's been a number of our residents from down where Coxhall Creek is all the way up to Miami that have been expressing concerns. So we've been keeping on our eyes on any initiative that we could help bring sand for the sake of our residents. We've been trying to follow the example of Middle Township, which was able to get grants for some beach fill there. So we started having conversations with the folks who did that for Middle Township. We carried it along for a while. We got some folks interested in doing it, but then we came up to the realization that we had to postpone any efforts that we did along these lines, given the fact that we have the resiliency grant. And that resiliency grant has certain stipulations that we have to not do anything basically for that period of time that they're going to be doing their studies. So we're basically, we put the brakes on that for the time being at the recommendation of the manager and the recommendation of our planning director to not pursue any of those avenues until the resiliency grant comes through.
Any reason why they're stopping at Spruce instead of going all the way to Miami?
Well, I had mentioned that was about as much as they thought they could take on. And, they were really they started with the idea they were going to do much smaller, and we kind of egged them on to, make it as far up as they could. But these are the folks that basically are looking to do a study to see how much sand would be needed in order to basically extend the landing path for the red knots that are coming here. They're doing this on the basis of getting grants to help.
I mean, because they actually close off the area for the red knots.
Right.
Further north. by
Right.
your
They
house.
they do it behind where I live, and they do it a little bit further up around Miami. So they want us to continue to support that. But then they're also saying that if we can get you more sand for the sake of the red knots, then they're going to want the township to consider, shutting down those sections of beach during the month, basically the 4 weeks that the state requires that those areas are roped off.
Oh, we're already shutting the one areas down.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about it. I was going to bring it up at the next meeting, but
It's on hold for now.
It's
I mean,
on
you
hold for
probably
now.
noticed it behind your house, but just the last 2 days walking on the bay, I've noticed it's eroded away in the
Yeah.
last couple of weeks there. Pretty good,
Yeah.
you know. I
So,
don't know if there's any way we can, just continue that all the way up.
yeah, well, I hear you.
I mean, that's just a unilateral cutoff point, really.
And the other thing that we're pursuing too is going back to the Army Corps, which had its plan at one point doing beach replenishment all up and down the bay.
Right.
And we're trying to get their attention and tell them, hey, we'd be interested in hearing about your plans for doing that for Lower Township. So we're basically looking at everything we can to make sure that we can take advantage of opportunities to bring sand behind our residents. And the first step is the resiliency grant, so we're going to see that through.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Anybody else wish to address council? Yeah, please.
Helen Thompson Villas, and I went outside, you see, to speak. I wanted to speak to the gentleman out there. I don't know if I handed you an article from one of the newspapers addressing the rude behavior that goes on in this meeting, and I didn't know if you addressed it during your comments. Did anyone? No. Well, I was outside.
Okay.
Okay, I didn't know. But what I wanted to ask you is if you could please read that article. I agree with that 100%. That article is spot on about the goings-on in this council meeting when people are up here just talking, right? Voicing their opinions during public comment, I think is rude behavior. And it goes on constantly. And, that article, as it states, one of the councilmen's wives are right in the middle of that. And I would just, it should have been addressed, honestly, before it hit the paper. But I'm glad somebody did write the paper, and I'd just like to ask you if you could just please do something about it, because it's not right. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. Other people have came up to me when the meeting's over, and they're just like, you know what I mean? They feel the same as I do. So, about that. And so anyway, my second thing I wanted to say is winter's coming with the pets, with the dogs. We have that extreme weather ordinance in this township, and I was wondering if maybe somebody could release a press release. And I know you did last year, but I'm asking so people would know, because a lot of people, they don't have their nose in the code books, and they have no idea. I mean, I've seen spout offs. People, they don't know. They don't know to call animal control. They don't know. They just don't know. I mean, because they're busy working, they don't always get, you know what I mean? They don't get the info out there, and that's just what I want. It would like if you guys could just do that and remind people so they can get their dogs and cats inside as the weather approaches. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Yes.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Jackie Henderson, Mickles Run. Coming before you tonight to let you know, as an MUA board member, that the week before last, we passed a budget for the 2016 year. There was no increase in water or sewer rates for next year, and our budget had passed unanimously, to let you know that. Also, at the last meeting, a comment was made by a member of the public that a complaint was made to the DEP regarding the hydrant flushing. We just wanted to clarify some information that the MUA had done some homework, and there was no complaint made to the DEP, and that was verified, to us at our meeting. On a totally unrelated note, a happier note, this Thursday, the 19th, and the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, the fall play will be going on at Lower Cape May Regional. This year, they are doing 12 Angry Men. What is unique about this production this year is they actually have two casts. They are going to have an all-male cast 2 of the nights and an all-female cast for 2 of the nights. Ladies will be going first on Thursday and Saturday. The gentlemen will be going on Friday, and the Sunday matinee at 2 p.m. The night shows are at 7 o'clock. So the cost is $10, and would encourage council and members of the public to see this production. It will be unique in one sense. With the female cast, it's one of the first times it's been done in this area. And if people are familiar with 12 Angry Men, a movie that starred Henry Fonda, I believe, I'm not sure of the year. So would welcome the public to come to the production starting on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? This gentleman in the back.
Hi, good evening again, Council. Daniel Morley, 134 Sunset Drive. You went through the consent agenda. I didn't know we were supposed to speak then, or can we speak to the points on the consent agenda now?
Well, you can speak to anything you wish when it's a call to the public, but the
Okay.
decision's already been made, whatever it was.
All right. Item number 331, resolution to authorize participation in state health benefits. Are you guys on the state health benefits, or are you going to the state health benefits?
Jim?
Excuse me, we're currently not in the state health benefits.
Okay.
And we've been watching the numbers for the last 6 months,
What's your
and
projected savings by doing that?
$410,000.
Great, great. Yeah, that's just in general, that's what we realized in the town I was in before, the savings of not having the premiums go to your go-between on top of the premiums going there. So that's great. The other question I had was, coming in late to the discussion about the coalition, you mentioned the grant, $600,000 and $25,000. Is that the total?
Over 5 years. It's $125,000 a year.
Okay. And the gentleman, Mr. Selby, what does he take home as a stipend on that?
I'm not sure that I know that, because theoretically, it's being administered by Cape Assist.
Okay.
So, I don't know that.
So, but he's definitely taking a stipend out of that?
Oh, yeah, he gets paid out of that grant, but I mean, the coalition
Is it a
itself.
full-time position that he's taken on
Yes.
this position?
Yes.
Okay.
And what he will be doing is, the coalition has 12 spokes, and he's kind of the hub in the middle, and each one of the spokes represents a segment of society, like, for instance, police, school, parents, youth. You go right around.
Right.
And he is basically the person who's going to coordinate this coalition, and it's a healthy youth coalition, and it's predicated on, and I don't want to take their game away, because this is what his job is, but
Sure.
it's based upon having kids make better choices and growing up in middle school and a little older, and keeping them away from it. And like we said earlier, it's a lot easier to keep them away from it than it is to sit back and to go through the pain of trying to get them off of something.
Right. And was all that presented before? Like I said, I haven't been here since the dogs were running amok on the beach. So I haven't known whether this was all presented as part of your due diligence to get the grant, and the presentation on what was going to happen once he got the grant.
We didn't even know about the grant when we began the committee here.
Okay.
We just knew we had a problem, and we didn't know where to go, because we were the only ones who seemed to have seen it. So we kind of did it by seat of the pants. But the best thing we did during the first year was to bring Cape Assist in to help us. When we've had the first couple meetings, it was basically just workers in the township, the rec department, the clerk, and sitting there saying, does anybody see what we're seeing?
Right.
And it was predicated on complaints we were getting. Anyway, to continue on, the answer, I guess, is that this coalition grew out of that grouping, and then it got matched. There was a grant that came up, and they said, well, we're perfect for that.
Sure.
And that's how come the township ended up with it.
So as Mr. Selby mentioned, he's going to have some kind of presentation going forward in the new year to say what's going to happen,
Yeah.
where he's going to be, what events are going to be
See,
taking place. Those kind of
he is a facilitator. He's not the leader. The solutions will come from the 12 spokes that are sitting there,
Okay.
because it's a unique setting within our community, and it's not a cookie cutter approach. There would be perhaps suggestions or recommendations that may be unique that might come out of those 12 people sitting there.
We also did, approximately 3 years ago, we started some programs in the junior high with a Tiger Teens program for girls, and then that morphed in a year later for a program for boys. We also brought in a reformed heroin addict, one of the top public speakers in the country from California, that polarized two of the schools with an incredible presentation all day. And a lot of these things were happening, and as the mayor said, when the word started to come up about the grant, he was still having meetings here. It was almost as if we were a perfect fit. I don't think most of the other municipalities were in a position that we had pretty much a nice timeline of continuous meetings. And like he said, there were a lot of people involved with regards to the police, the judge being here, council, the mayor. That's really what I think went a long way.
Yeah. Tom was there. It was a crowded committee, and we were kind of breaking ground because we didn't have anything to go by. And, then the county picked up Christine Gabor, to her credit, was doing it at the county level what we were doing here. But anyway, thank you.
And with that, on a 5-year plan, is there a sunset after that 5-year plan? And
Well,
or-
I'm not 100% certain, but
no,
I
kind of putting, you know,
I think
everything
that
through-
there is a potential that it can be extended. But again,
That's based on what happened.
listen, I'm just grateful because what he's going to do, we've been doing by default. I can't do it. I mean, there has to be, it is such a problem within the township, and it is such a problem that has such a magnitude. It's so important. It's our kids.
Right.
That we need to have somebody who can do this and be there. I can't do this. And I get the calls from people, heartbreaking calls. I've just found out that my kid is this. Where do I go?
Right.
And, thank God places like Cure, the one over on Route 9 at the church there, what's the name of that church? Lighthouse Church. And Robin, I can't remember her name, they started, which is a faith-based response to this epidemic. And I totally support what they're doing. That's been a good program. And of course, Cape Assist, Cape Counseling's been involved. Family Matters. Tom and I went to a dinner for Vivitron, I think it's called, isn't it?
It's
Something like that.
More advanced.
Vivitrol,
version of
something like
Narcan.
that. It is. It's a specific drug. Look, I could go for hours. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Please. That part I like.
Helen Thompson, Village. This is concerning the drug program. That's why one of the
Go
things
ahead.
I was talking to a gentleman outside about. Preventative is great. I don't have, that's great. Except that the problem with that is there's still going to be some kids, and there are now already, who are doing drugs already.
I get
and,
that.
okay, so the preventative is not going to do a thing for them to start with. I speak to a lot of customers, during my day at work.
Right.
And there's a lot of people in this county, I'm not just saying lower, but just county in general, that if they find out that their kids are doing drugs, which most of them are shocked to find out.
Right.
But anyway, they have nowhere to turn. Okay, I mean, I've known 2 now so far that they could not get their kids in rehab until they overdosed on heroin.
And,
Okay, because you know why they couldn't get them in rehab? Because the kids didn't have a criminal record yet, so they had to wait, I suppose, till the kids die.
Well, there's no inpatient facility in Cape.
There's nothing. Okay,
No, I agree.
my 2 cents on this issue is, I'm sure if you look around in this township, you can find a lot of maybe cleaned up drug addicts and the like, right? And people who are doing drugs, in my opinion, things like when you have straight people who have they may have learned in school, but to learn in school and actually be there in real life as a drug addict is completely different. And you have drug addicts out there now. And, you can talk till you're blue in the face, and it's going to go in one ear and out the other 99% of the time with a drug addict. It helps a lot if you can round up maybe some drug addicts around in this area who are cleaned up for like a long time.
Right.
Be maybe one-on-one would
Well,
help a lot.
we've had the
in my
symposium
opinion.
here and stuff like that. I mean, we have had this done. This has been done.
Okay, because that's needed. And
Right.
they need to be able to tell parents what to do because they're at a loss, honestly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council?
George Doherty, Irma. I guess we said something about grants. I know we've been collecting grants for the bike path, to complete it in Lower Township. I see Middle Township's almost, it's all the way through their township. Where are we at with finishing our bike path?
Great question, George. We had a meeting at the county today, and we have a partnership with Middle Township. Our public works are actually doing the job for both sides, and it's part of the open space grant with the county. The meeting today was due to the fact that we have a hurdle in the stretch of land between the former Sally Marshall crossing. Are you familiar with what I'm
Right where
talking
the
about?
Country One is.
Well, between there and which will run down to Seashore Foods on the other side into Middle Township. But for the first part of it down past Hawk Haven, the telephone poles are a huge obstacle to us right now, in that there isn't enough access between the poles and the road to do what we need to do. And on the other side of the poles, there's these tension wires that come out. So if you can imagine, if you,
So it's going to be on Seashore Road? It can't
Yes.
be next to the railroad like the other part? Is that-
yes, but saying that, the engineers for both sides, Middle Township has an engineer, we have an engineer, we're all in the meeting with the county today on this, and another meeting is coming up with the electric company. We've already had a meeting with them, but
Did they agree to donate the land yet, or are they going to let us, I think they donated the land the last time, didn't they, for the, it was the electric company's property that,
that I don't know, I wasn't, do you know?
I don't have that.
I don't know that, but I will also tell you that we're getting a lot of calls from the folks below us. Cape May Point, West Cape May proper. They want to join in on this path, and we welcome that, but we have to find a solution to these poles, and one of the solutions that has been offered is not acceptable to me at this point, because it's too long from now. The wait would be too long, and I'm worried about the grant, because they're going to be going to metal poles instead of the wooden poles, which would be fine, but not in the time parameters that we're currently talking about. So I do want you to know we're working on this diligently, but right now, that's the biggest obstacle for our side. For the other side, there's other obstacles, because there's some homes involved where there's landscaping and things of this nature. We have one other smaller hurdle by that Sally Marshall crossing. There's an area there that we're going to have to do something with a small bridge or extending a pipe, which actually runs all the way to the post office, because there's some water there. So we're on it.
okay, so maybe next meeting you have more, information.
If I do, I'll be glad to share at that point, but
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address council? This lady here.
I'm Betty Summers from West Atlantic Avenue. Because we're talking about bikes, I wish you could pass something in the nighttime. The little kids, big men, they're riding all over the villas. It's pitch dark. They got black clothes on. You don't see them until you're this close to them. They should have to have light clothes or a light or something on their bike, because somebody's going to get killed. So if you could really do something about that,
Betty,
make
it's
them.
already a township ordinance. They're supposed to have light
Yeah.
reflectors and the light clothes. It's just getting enforcement in when the police are running everywhere. They don't necessarily see the bikes, but no, they're already supposed to have lights on the bikes, front and back, the reflectors and the light clothes.
Yeah, because if,
So
if
it's
they
a
don't,
major safety concern.
it's scary. It really is. Even out here, I said out here they come riding by, you don't even see them because there's no lights or anything. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.